Okay, I was talking with the mic muted. I apologize. Hey, everybody. Let me know how the sound is. I realized the last couple of times I've gone live, somehow it switched mics on me. So I switched back to my other mic, and I'm hoping you can hear me better or hear me okay, at least. Um, yeah, I was muted when I started. I'm not used to this. I got out of the hang of live streaming by missing a week. I don't know what happened. Let me get up here and welcome everybody. Oh, and this week, unfortunately, Nettie does not have enough Wi-Fi, enough power to get into StreamYard. So we're by ourselves today. Just me. I hope that'll do. But she did put together an amazing video for us to go over, so that'll be fun. So we have Thrifty Angela, we have Mel Nettie Living Free Zip Codeless in the chat. We have Nomadic Hippie, who is driving and hopefully keeping his eyes on the road. We have Full-Time Dream, hello and thank you for coming. We have Bob's Adventure. We have Weekends with the Camper, hello. Happy Place Camping. We have Donald. Hey, how are you doing? I didn't make it on last week, and I apologize, Donald. All right, and we have Shanna Craft. We have Griswold Family Vacay. We have Fordman, aka Kenneth Oak. K&R Destinations. Sorry, it scrolled really fast on me. I think I said Little Bit Crazy, but if not, hey, Little Bit Crazy. All right, I think I got everybody. If not, I apologize. My mouse scrolled it all the way to the bottom on me, so I may have missed some people. Hey, Nell Court and Tommy Travels. All right, so let's get into this. Get the screen up. Here we go. Need to make it bigger. All right. The Murder of Grace Brown. All right. Get over here. Here we go. The Murder of Grace Brown, July, I already missed the date. July 11th, 1906. Grace Brown, whose life and death inspired Theodore Dreiser's An American Tragedy, her final resting place in the valley she loved, dedicated in 2008. I'm not even going to try to say that town. Y'all know me and my English, not so great. These old-time pictures, I don't know about you all, but when they're really old like this, it freaks me out. They're a little scary. What do you all think? The murder of Grace Brown in 1906 was an event that changed the lives of many people in the small village of South, here we go, Otselic, New York. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Her name is still whispered in households throughout America, and her memory shall live on forever in the hearts of the people in the small farming community. Yeah, Nettie, she looked really, really pretty. I think it's just the old-timey part of the picture makes me think more on the ghost side. I'm not sure. Nursing Our Travel Bug, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Hey, RV Underway. All right. I'm so thankful for Nettie putting all these videos together. She does such a good job, doesn't she, everybody? All right. Grace Brown was brought up on a farm in upstate New York. The small brown farm was a typical self-sufficient dairy farm operated by the family. I do have an announcement at the end of this. I'm going to talk about my live streaming schedule. So anybody that's interested in maybe picking up a time slot or anything, stay tuned. All right, this is the Brown Farmhouse. It looks pretty and country-like. Also, it's an old photo, so again, looks a little bit haunting. Grace's life was that of any farm girl at the turn of the century. She attended the Tallet Hill School just under a mile away. Uh-oh, she had to walk uphill both ways in the snow. Just kidding. How many people's parents told them that? To get to school, they had to walk uphill both ways. The village of South Otselic was a small, quiet village with many different buildings, shops, and stores to make the life easier for anyone living there. Bob's Adventure says, that's like a painting of a farm. Yeah, it was. South Otselic, I know I'm saying that wrong, forgive me, may have been isolated, but it still was a community dependent upon itself. The small village thrived on its own, and many people were content and happy to be living there. Shanna Craft's parents told her uphill in both ways. In the snow. Grace was a very typical farm girl of the era, an era when farm girls were beginning to break away and be no longer just creatures on the farm, but to wear the same clothes as the city girls. Oh. Oh, please ignore Nightbot. I need to remove that. Sorry, everyone. All right. Grace seemed to be a girl who wanted to get out of the small town and off the farm to see and experience a different life in the city. Her way out was her sister, Ada Holly. Ada had recently married and had moved to Cortland with her husband, Clarence. Why are all these names so hard to say? 100 years from now, our old-timey 2D photos will seem haunting as well. Yeah, probably, but I'm not going to be around for that. So I would actually probably get a giggle out of it if I haunted someone with my picture. Like, I think that would be a privilege. I don't know, something's wrong with me. When Ada and Clarence, sorry everyone, when Ada and Clarence left Cortland, Grace had a decision to make. She could return home to South Otselic, or she could stay in Cortland, possibly as a boarder, and continue to work at the skirt factory. She chose to stay. Nettie said, sorry, BB, hard names, right? Yeah, it's not like it's Herman or Liz or I don't know, Ed, a 2-letter word. Those are great. I'm sorry, my son is asking for me to check my email for him. I apologize. 1 second so I can send this to him. All right. Sorry about that. All right. The Gillette skirt factory. 100 years from now, our names will be hard to say. You know what? Okay, I'm going to tell y'all a little story about how I learned to spell my name. My name was on a product that was bought a lot and was in most homes. It was a common product. And so my parents would sit me down with the bottle of this product that was my name and tell me I had to spell it from there. So that's how I learned to spell my name. So you can imagine how challenging it is when I try to deal with other people's names. Just saying. All right. She moved from Fifth Avenue to the former Wheeler farmhouse on the edge of the city, where Miss Wheeler took her on as a boarder. Nothing could have been more proper, and the walk to work was short. The factory could be seen from the front door. Tommy Travel says, it takes grease out of your way. Nelcourt says, it's pronounced Ada or Ada. See, I still can't understand. I don't know. That's part of the lore to my show, right? You come and see how horrible I pronounce things. I mean, that should be part of this, right? All right, here we go. It's such a big building. We still have a lot of buildings like this in downtown St. Louis. I think people will be able to pronounce nomadic hippie throughout time. I agree. At the same time, Grace Brown was living in South Otselic, New York. Chester Gillette. Oh my gosh. Chester Gillette was traveling with his family in the Salvation Army. He traveled and lived in such places as Hawaii, Washington, Montana, Oregon, Wyoming, California, Ohio, and New York. Yes, A, long A, duh, like duh. Had an aunt with that name. Okay, now. There will be a nomadic hippie statue next to the Superman then. By then. I think a nomadic hippie statue would be cool. There's already a nomadic hippie Lego, which is totally cool too. Just saying. Chester Gillette family. See, like these old photos are creepy. Look, half his face is wore off. He's got a big mole. I'm just kidding. That's not a mole. I mean, it's a beautiful family, but they don't smile. In older photos, they don't smile. And the photos are just so worn. I think that's why they creep me out. I think. There needs to be a nomadic hippie bobblehead. That's true. Moly. He had worked many odd jobs growing up, but his family soon discovered that he needed proper schooling. In the winter of 1900 to 1901, the family arranged for Chester's entry into Oberlin's Academy. During his summer vacations, Chester went to Cortland to work for his uncle, Horace, I know that name, in the Gillette skirt factory. Pictures back then, no one smiled because it was expensive to get photos, so it was a serious occasion from what I learned. Yeah. But even like these guys right here, this one and this one, it looks like they're almost smiling or have a slight smile. And that kind of takes the edge off the photo for me. It's when they look so serious, which I know back then it was a serious occasion, but still very weird to look at those pictures nowadays. But then, heck, later on in life, maybe people will look at our pictures where we're smiling like crazy and think, what were they so happy about? You never know. All right. His grades seemed to drop, however, and he opted not to return to Oberlin in the spring of his second year. He moved to Chicago in June of 1903 and took a job selling books and was a brakeman on the railroad. A summer before, Horace Gillette had made an offer for Chester to come to Cortland full-time and work for him. He finally accepted and surprised his uncle by showing up in Cortland. His salary was $10 a week, and it never changed. He stayed with his uncle and family until he found a place to stay. He quickly fit into the scene in Cortland. Oh, he's a handsome feller. That wasn't as creepy as other photos. He was pretty handsome. It was within the Gillette skirt factory that Chester and Grace first met. Chester seemed to be attracted to the petite figure of Grace Brown. He discovered excuses to visit her table, and what started off as small talk soon grew into a friendship. Donald, I will definitely check that out and get on that. Thank you. Plus, when you see a ghost, that's kind of what they look like. That's true, Tommy Travels. Ghosts do not look happy unless it's Casper. This is Chester at the dock. He looks like a very confident young man. He did not call every night, as many nights were spent with relatives and close friends. He frequently played tennis on weekends and went on group outings with other friends who owned bicycles. Most of all, however, he enjoyed swimming and boating on the nearby lakes and the parties with the young people he had met through friends at the factory. Aha, a party boy. This would suggest that Chester had other women on his arm in public at times. She still seemed to love and care for Chester very much, even though he tended to neglect her. Mm-mm-mm. When she discovered her pregnancy, she was terribly distraught and emotional. Her co-workers noticed a change in her spirit, and Chester acted the same as he had before, calling on Grace sometimes during the week while still attending parties with other women of the community. Hey, Aaron. KNR said, "Oh snap! Sounds like a mixture for disaster." Yeah, I would agree. When she returned home to South Oxlick, several letters were written to Chester, pleading and begging him to help her and take care of the problem. She spoke of death at times, and her letters were sometimes threatening to Chester. Thrifty Angela is back. Friends in Cortland had written to her of how he had been having a wonderful time with the ladies. Her letters sometimes implied that she would come to Cortland and expose him as a man who had gotten an unmarried girl pregnant. Either my stream has froze on my end or BB is pretending to be a mannequin. Am I froze for everybody, or is it just hippie? I don't want to keep going if I'm froze. Am I frozen? Okay, just hippie. All right, we'll keep going then. I want you to write me, dear, just as soon as you get this, and tell me the exact day you can come. I will come back in a little while. I can't stay here, dear, and please don't ask me too much longer. June 20th, 1906, Grace's letter to Chester. The letters. Oh, this man sounds awful. Aaron, are you enjoying Florida? Hippie did a refresh and I'm working again. No longer a mannequin. It's great news. Words such as these were found in her letters. If I die, I hope then you can be happy. I hope I can die. The doctor says I will, and then you can do just as you like. Oh dear, please come and take me away. I want you tonight, and I am so blue. June 21st, 1906, Grace's letter to Chester. Ah, this is sad. Hey, Arby and Witchy. My dear Chester, I am writing to tell you that I am coming back to Cortland. I simply can't stay here any longer. Mama worries and wonders why I cry so much, and I am just about sick. Please come and take me away to some place, dear. Ugh, my heart is breaking. She should have marched on in there to his uncle's skirt shop with her big old belly and said, look. Sorry, I'm getting a little angry. Just a little. We shall keep going. Suggestions about coming back to Cortland could be found in her letters. This made Chester uneasy, and he quickly responded with a letter of his own. 2 days later, Grace received a letter from Chester telling her not to worry. It was soon arranged for Grace and Chester to get away to the... What is this word? Get away to the Adirondacks. That's the best I can do, people. To spend time together. This must have eased Grace's mind, at least slightly. It was planned that they would meet in De Ruyter, a village much like South Ostlick, a short distance away. What are these words? All right, I'm doing the best I can. That's all that matters, right? I'm giving myself a pep talk. Excuse me while I do that. From there, they took the railroad where they finally arrived in the beautiful, scenic Adirondack Mountains. Grace had told her parents that she was going back to work in Cortland again. Adirondacks. Did I say that right that time? Nettie said, laugh out loud, baby. Look, I'm pretty good at knowing different places, different people, different things. But some of this stuff, I'm like, what? Never heard of it. Now, you all travel, so you probably heard of a lot of these places. I don't know. Donald said, it is a small town near the mountains areas. Gotcha. While staying in different hotels, Chester used names such as Charles George or Carl Graham. Soon after the couple arrived at the Glenmore Hotel on Big Moose Lake, the couple went sightseeing in a small rowboat on the lake. telling you, my son's driving me nutty. He keeps asking me for a code so that he can log into something because the code keeps getting sent to my email. He knows I'm live, by the way. I don't know. Nettie says, I'm sorry. Wish I could be up there helping you pronounce them wrong. Here we go. I'm guessing we can all guess where this story is going. He didn't want her to be around anymore. He didn't want to deal with the pregnancy, and now he takes her out on a rowboat? Donald, I do not. Not yet. Hey, New Vision Security Services, how you doing? Big Moose Lake is pretty. I'm sure it's going to have a tragic story here in a second, though. An interesting point about this is the fact that Grace went out on the lake with Chester and could not swim. Also, Chester brought along a suitcase with his tennis racket. Then, according to Chester, they just floated for a long period of time, reading magazines and enjoying the sunshine. I really don't like this guy. After the couple did not return in the evening, the boatkeeper, Robert Morrison, sent people out to look for them. By morning, there was still no word about the missing boat. They soon discovered the overturned boat, yet there was no sign of anyone around. A 13-year-old boy, Roy Higby, discovered the tiny body of Grace Brown. Tommy says she was a stage 4 clinger. It won't end well. Well, any man that ends the life of the pregnant woman, he's not just ending her life, he's ending his child's life. And to me, that's just one of the most sick things an individual can do, is end the life of their child. Like, it's bad enough to murder, right? But murdering your own child? Unforgivable. Peering over the side, Higby spotted a white blob in the dark waters of the bay. Men in rowboats grappled for the sunken form and hauled on board the steamer the body of a dead girl. It was Grace Brown. They continued to search the area and found only a hat and a coat. Chester Gillette, aka Carl Graham, was nowhere to be found. Chester Gillette traveled around the lakes and ended up at Eagle Bay. Nettie said, exactly. He's a jerk. A jerk or jerk face? How about both? We'll label him both. He made plans to meet up with friends from Cortland that were also in the area. As he was spending time alone in the mountains, the police were close behind him. The police quickly began to put the pieces together and meet up with him in the dining area of the Arrowhead Hotel. He was arrested and taken to Herkimer to be held for the grand jury. The proceedings for the trial began. The press seemed to become heavily involved in the case and spent much time in Herkimer, New York, where Chester was in jail. Curiosity about Chester mounted, but the authorities decided to keep the prisoner from the public. No visitors except for family and attorneys. Matty says, that is sick, but there is sicker, like getting vanilla ice cream when Rocky Road is available. That's pretty bad. She was very pretty. Scary photo, just from how old it is, but she was still very pretty. Cookies and cream is the best flavor. I don't know. Anyone ever heard of Oberweis? Oberweis ice cream? It's like a cold cream type ice cream place. Their black cherry flavor, oh, amazing. All right. District Attorney Ward worked diligently on the case by sending people to Big Moose and Cortland to find all the information he would need to prosecute Chester Galletti. Sorry, I'm having a hard time with words today. For the murder of Grace Brown. Physicians who performed autopsy on the body of Grace Brown. Wow, there were a lot of coroners. So lots of people working on her case. In less than a week, Ward had collected an impressive mass of evidence and was readying it for the courtroom. He was uncommonly generous with the men and women of the press, and newspapers immediately printed every detail of Chester's vacation itinerary. Ooh, Donald likes black cherry also. That is a packed courtroom. The outlook was not good for Galletti. He did claim innocence throughout the entire trial and received some sympathy from several females who wrote to him. Chester was tried and found guilty for the murder of Grace Brown. He was sentenced to death in the electric chair in the Auburn State Prison. And that's something I've always wondered about is, I think it was like 3 years ago, maybe longer than that, there was a man that was arrested and his mugshot was all over the internet. And it was because he had like these piercing blue eyes and kind of a typical good-looking man or handsome man, and women all over were going crazy wanting to get in touch with this guy. It's kind of the same thing with Chris Watts. He's typical handsome, but he murdered his entire family. Yet there's women that throw themselves at these men. I don't understand that. I'm never going to understand that. What goes through a woman's mind where she's like, hey, he's a murderer, but he's really cute. So I want to get to know him better. I don't understand that. If I had been there, I would have told them all to get off her case. KNR says, so he got what he deserved for killing her and the baby. All right. Oh, Nettie says, yeah, that's crazy with Chris Watts for sure. Yeah, he has like people that paid his. R. Kelly. R. Kelly's another one. R. Kelly, the musician, the singer, whatever, he had some nasty charges on him, and some lady that owned a daycare bailed him out of jail. She didn't know him. She knew all of the crimes and stuff, but she still bailed him out of jail. I'm like, what? Why? You own a daycare. And some of the stuff he's doing had to do with younger people. So it's like, what are you thinking? I don't know. I don't understand. Hippie says, I'm untypically handsome. No, you're not. You're very handsome, Hippie. New Vision said, prison love. There's a show on TV about that. Yeah. Some of the people on prison love, I think they were already in a relationship before the person did the bad thing, and then they continue to stay in the relationship. But there's a lot of these criminals where ladies write them letters in jail. Like, they never knew them. They just find them attractive and fall in love with their picture. Don't understand it. Chester hears his death sentence with smile. What? Still today, people ponder the events that took place 114 years ago. Some believe that Chester was innocent and that Grace Brown fell overboard in an epileptic seizure, as she is rumored to have suffered from epilepsy. Yeah, I don't think so. Women were going crazy for that handsome devil of a man, Charles Manson. Yeah, that's a big one too. Happy Place says there's female guards that fall in love with prisoners. Yeah, that's very true. And there's male guards that do it with the female guards too. There was a lady that was in prison. I seen the story a long time ago. She was in prison and she was like one of the most manipulative prisoners they had ever had. And she managed to make one of the prison guards fall in love with her, bring her all these things, and eventually he helped her break out of jail. It was like, what? And he was a married man. What? New Vision said, have to go to prison to find love. Geesh. I don't think she had epilepsy. Well, I mean, she could have had epilepsy, but I doubt that's how she died. Chester's jail cell. They really knew how to build stuff back in the day. A lot of those buildings still stand very strong and tall. I have to get things ready for work tomorrow. Everyone have a great night. You too, Full-Time Dream. Thanks for being here. If it was a seizure, why did he run? Yeah, like, why would he leave her in the water? Why would he just go out and hang out with his friends rather than going back and saying, oh my gosh, she fell in the water and I couldn't save her? It doesn't make sense. Hey, Timmy Ray the King. Thanks for coming in. Eventually, the guy gets out of jail. They get married. She can't have babies. He goes to kidnap 3 twins, and chaos consumes. Others feel that Chester was guilty because even if she had fallen over the side on her own, he made no attempt to save her or get her help. People with different views of the outcome must agree that it is a tragedy. He thought his looks and stature would set him free. I believe that, K&R. He seems very, well, from the beginning I was saying he seems very, confident, overly confident. Oh, thanks for listening, Nursing or Travel Bug. I hope your dinner's good. Alrighty. This is the Glenmore Hotel on July 11th, 1906. Chester Galletti and Grace Brown left here for a boat trip, ending in her death and his 1908 execution for murder. Hey, Linda Barker. Betty Broderick. She killed her ex-husband and his wife. She gets letters all the time. Yeah, see, I don't understand that. Grace Brown was a burden to Chester Glay because he was determined to have fun and stay young while Grace was carrying his baby, a sign of maturity and adulthood. It was a constant reminder to him that his life was to change. A girl was killed at the age of 20, and for a reason that has left many still wondering why. I'm interested in what Betty Broderick looks like now. Now I kind of want to look her up. Well, thank you, Nettie, for putting this together for us. This was a really interesting story. Tragic. Let's see if I can get my mouse onto the other screen. Yay, it worked. All right. Tragic. Sad. But very, very good story. I enjoyed it very much. Happy Place says, very interesting. I hadn't heard this one before. Yeah, I'd never heard of this before either. It makes me want to, I don't know, like, this might be strange, but I like to go to cemeteries and visit the very old graves because I feel like maybe their family's still not around, maybe they don't get visitors, and so it kind of makes me want to go there and visit her grave because it's just sad. KNR says, love these stories, so educational on history. I agree. Yay, goodbye, Georgia. Welcome to Florida. 2 hours from Cousin Eddie. Yeah, hippie's almost home. So I said that I had a little announcement at the end of the stream, so I'm going to go ahead and announce that now. Usually I was trying to stream Wednesdays at 4, Friday at 5, and Sunday at 5. I am going to go ahead and stop doing my Wednesday stream. I just don't have the time. And then I feel bad because I'm not getting on here and I want to be on here, but this is just crazy season. I have 3 teenagers with birthdays in November and December. One of my friends' birthdays is in December. Then we have Christmas and we have New Year's. We had Thanksgiving. So it's just like a constant have to get ready for things constantly. And then I slack on here and I feel so bad. So I'm not going to be able to do the Wednesday stream. I'm going to continue to do Friday and Sunday at 5 o'clock. And then try to maybe put more videos out too. I don't know. No promises. Kenneth Oakes, are you still in here? They said he beat her with a tennis racket. That's why he had it with him. I bet, like, wouldn't she obviously have marks if he had beat her? So it wouldn't be like an accidental drowning if she had marks from being beaten too, I'm sure. Okay, Kenneth is in here, and I talked with him on Saturday, and he was saying that he wanted to take the Wednesday time slot so that he could then go ahead and raid K&R destinations. Yeah, I didn't want to not fill that spot because K&R comes on right after that. So it's great to be able to raid everybody. So Fordman, aka Kenneth Oakes, are you still interested in the Wednesday slot at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time? And then K&R would come up right after you. Linda Barker said, ball bat would work better than a tennis racket. True, but he played tennis, it said in the story. Boxman D might not be coming on because she was on earlier this week, I think. Oh, she's no longer doing scheduled lives. Gotcha. I understand that you feel bad. However, anyone that's had 3 teenage kids ought to get it fine. Thanks, Nell. Yeah, it's crazy because they don't plan things. They're just kind of like, oh yeah, I want to go do this, or can you run me here, or can this friend come over at this time? And I used to be able to work that out a little bit better because they were going to school, but now they're home a lot, and I feel bad if I don't get them out somehow. So it just feels like we're doing more than we used to, or at least more randomly than we used to. So it's harder for me to schedule. But yeah, Fordman, let me know in the chat if you're good to go ahead and take the Wednesday slot at 4 Central Standard Time. And then we'll kind of have a plan for that. And everyone here will know that Fordman will be on. But I hope that works for everybody. And then Fridays, I will go back and forth between doing trivia and true crime, and then also like interviews sometimes, because I kind of miss doing those. And then Sundays will always be Hauntings and History. I love Sundays. All right, so Fordman says he is going to do the Wednesdays at 4 Central Standard Time. Thank you, Fordman, for doing that. Appreciate it. But yeah, I don't think Dee's on after me. I know that Jerry Holly usually goes live on Sundays. Who else do we have on Sundays? Box Van D, but she's not coming on. Then we have Jerry Holly. Man, I am lost with things. Jerry canceled also. Wow. Okay. Happy Place said bad internet. Gotcha. All right. K&R, Fordman, Kenneth Oaks. Right on. That's awesome. Bring it on. Wish you had a Chevy. K&R's on tonight. His oh snap. Sounds like we're going to have to bring it on tonight. K&R has amazing lives. Every time I go in there, they always say, what made you smile? What made you laugh? Something like that is their go-to thing. And every time I'm in there, I'm like, it's you guys. Like, I've had a pretty rough day, and you guys are making me smile. So I absolutely love their lives. They're great. Nomadic Hippie says, I miss the early morning makeup with coffee. That's the perfect time for me to get my face on. And now since you stopped, my face looks a mess. Nursing Our Turtle Bug says, it's definitely getting more and more difficult to keep up with all the live streams. Just got to ring that notification bell to know who's up when. Very true. I think that goes along with this is the time of year where a lot of the RVers were moving from places that had colder climates to places with warmer climates. So they were in the midst of traveling, a lot of the RVers. And then on top of that, you have the holidays. So you're visiting family. You have a lot of people have birthdays this time of year. And then on top of it, you get some people have seasonal depression, which makes it just hard in general. So I think this time of year is a little bit difficult, but it'll all pick back up again soon. BB3 woman, stop it. You just hit us on the feels. Oh, sorry. Happy Place says the notification bell does not work. Too funny. I got pictures of Nettie watching the stream. Love it. Linda Barker says our community has grown. That's another thing. The community has grown a lot, so it makes it difficult to get everywhere. You can only be in one place at one time. You know what I mean? But one more thing. I talked to. Hold on. Let me get this right, because whenever I start talking, I always mess things up. Okay. So Kathy from Kathy's Outdoor Adventures, she has a YouTube channel. I think most of you know who she is. Nettie, could you look up Kathy's Outdoor Adventures and share a link to her channel, please? She is 60 hours away as of last night. 60 hours away from being monetized. And I know a lot of people are looking for people to run their playlists and things like that. If anyone can go run her playlist and help boost that up a little bit, it would be fantastic. It works for some and not others. That's true. The bell. Tonight we have smiles, Q&A, obnoxiousness will ensue, bring drinks, food, and any questions you have. Love that. Thank you, Happy Place, for sharing that. I appreciate it. I loved K&R. We were on their live last week, or Wednesday, talking about toilets. Y'all know that's my favorite subject, toilets. And I was trying to type poopery. It's an actual product you spray in your toilet, and it keeps the smell in the toilet, but you spray it before you go potty, and it works really, really well. But I was trying to type it in the chat and could not figure out how to spell it. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, like those kind of conversations to me, I love. So I was all smiles last Wednesday. Happy Place said, I just ran Kathy's. It's really short. There we go. It won't take long to run it. So anybody that can do that, click that link and run it. That would be fantastic. I would appreciate it. And so would Kathy. That'd be awesome. But I am all talked out. My kiddo is still texting me. So I'm going to have to hop off for the night. And I will be back on Friday. And I will be dropping in live streams all week and checking up on you all. See how you're doing. So like around 4 hours, easy to knock out. Perfect. Thank you, Happy Place. All right. Thank you all so much for coming. I appreciate it. Sunday nights are always my favorite on here for me. So I appreciate it. I'm wishing you all much kindness and much love. Bye for now.